afternoon and welcome to the Bear Creek Schools Upper School Discover Bear Creek event. I'm so glad that you joined us this afternoon. My name is Christy Hazeltine. I am the Director of Admissions here at the Bear Creek School. I have been at Bear Creek for 29 years. I have had a daughter who graduated from Bear Creek. She went K through 12. Got married, moved away, and came back recently and has 2 children that also attend Bear Creek. So I say the legacy continues at Bear Creek, and I am thrilled not only to have been a parent, but a grandparent here at Bear Creek and continuing on as the admission director. So today's event is intended for both current Bear Creek families, those perhaps maybe who have middle school students that are looking ahead to the upper school years, and for prospective families, those of you that are interested in finding out more about Bear Creek and hopefully applying for admission. So the purpose of this afternoon's event is to give you an overview of Bear Creek, our academic program, athletics, student life, and much, much more to come. So we will be putting links in the chat, so do check that out from time to time because there will be a lot of valuable resources that will be posted there. So everything here at Bear Creek is driven by our mission, and our mission is to provide a high-quality Christian liberal arts education in a nurturing environment that will enable each student to become the individual God intends. Bear Creek was established in 1988, first as a K through 6 school. Later, we added middle school and upper school, and most recently, our preschool. So now, over 15 grade levels, we have a student population of 910 students, 253 of which are in our upper school. So Bear Creek is an independent Christian school. We are not affiliated with any particular church or denomination, and we teach from a Christian worldview. That Christian worldview is woven into all subject areas. We offer that broad-based liberal arts education in the core subjects of math, science, English, history, Christian studies, foreign language, plus a wide variety of great electives, fine and performing arts, computer, technology. So it's a very rich curriculum. We teach students how to think, not what to think, and then they build upon their analytical skills. They do independent research and experimentation, lots of writing, public speaking, critical thinking skills, time management, organization, self-advocacy, all kinds of things like that, as well as character and faith development. So the way in which we teach, our method is called the classical method. Classical is a huge topic, but if you can boil it down, there are 3 distinct stages. The first stage is called the grammar stage, where students learn the content and facts of the subjects. Then they move on to the logic stage, and that's where critical analytical thinking skills come into play. And last but not least is the rhetoric stage, which is the expressive stage. And students are moving in and out of those stages all of the time. The mission also mentioned nurturing environment. With a student-teacher ratio of 9:1, students are known very individually, and then the average class size of 18. I know when my daughter came to visit at Bear Creek when she lived away, she would walk down the halls and teachers that taught her in kindergarten, 3rd grade, 7th grade, 9th grade would all greet her and say, "Hello, what are you doing? Tell us what's happening." So kids are known very, very individually. And so we then strive, I'm thinking, okay, well, so what's the outcome at Bear Creek? Here at Bear Creek, we strive to produce graduates who have wisdom, which is the ability to make decisions in light of scripture and to think well and deeply. We also strive to produce students that have compassion, caring for their neighbor, caring for one another. And last but not least, courage. Courage to do the right thing. Not what may be popular, but to do the right thing. So you're going to get much more information on all of this this afternoon. And so now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mrs. Carol Miller, our upper school division head. Carol became part of the Bear Creek School in 2000. She has taught physical education and music education at both the secondary school and college level for 30 years prior to moving into administration. Carol loves sports. She played volleyball and basketball at Utah State University. She has 3 grown children, all 3 which graduated from the Bear Creek School. Carol holds a BS in physical education and music education, as well as a master's degree in education, all from Utah State University. So again, it's my pleasure to introduce Carol Miller.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you everyone for being here today. Really appreciate it on this snowy afternoon. It's my pleasure to work with these administrators. Let me introduce them to you here. We have Kevin Davison, who's the Upper School Dean of Students. You'll be able to hear from him. And then Dave Urban is not able to be with us due to some early release at the school today. He took care of the very end of that for us, but we will talk through his program as well. We have Miss Katie Gomulkiewicz, our Upper School Dean of College and Academic Advising. And then we have Mrs. Ayoleida Paramo. She's our Upper School Dean of Academic Advising, as well as Mr. Chad Pullman, our Upper School Athletic Director. And it's my privilege to work with these individuals because we are a team and we believe really strongly in the mission. And each of the students that God brings to the Bear Creek School truly are individuals, and we want them to be known and valued as the individual God made them to be. And so we work together as a team in all different areas to just help them identify their gifts, and we're just thrilled as a team to work with them. So as I walk through some of the overview of our open house today, I will talk about the academics, and then we'll get into student life and the college and academic advising, and then athletics, and then a bit about how to do the tours and how to apply should you choose to do that. And then we'll have a Q&A at the end. What we really want you to go away with an overview of what Bear Creek has to provide at the upper school, what we do here, and how we meet the needs of the students. So that's our agenda for today, and I will get started with some of the details of the upper school. We had the privilege of being voted the best of the 425, the upper school at Bear Creek, which is just a privilege, and it speaks to our teachers. We have such phenomenal teachers, and the upper school faculty is right around 30, and we have middle and upper school faculty with advanced degrees of 74%. We have three faculty members up at the upper school that have doctoral degrees. And then, as Christy mentioned, our typical class size is about 18 with a student to teacher ratio of around 8 to 1. So as you look at that, you can grasp how teachers really know their students. They love their students. They spend time with them. They get to know their love and their interests. And so they certainly don't slip through the cracks. We know and value each student that is here, and we are so thankful for them. We have an integrated program for our humanities, and I'll talk a little bit more about this as the slides go through. But as you can see, humanities, English, history, and Christian studies. Ancient is at the 9th grade, then we have medieval and Renaissance literature as well as history at the 10th grade, and then we get more into modern and upper and U.S. history and the actual literature of that era, and then we finish with our capstone projects, which is just a phenomenal culmination of all the information students have learned up until their up and through their 12th grade year. We offer language, the 3 languages, Latin, and at the upper school is Latin 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we have Spanish 1, 2, 3, and 4, and French 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we work really hard to integrate the humanities in a fashion so that what they're learning in history makes sense, and they may be talking about a piece of literature, but it's of the same era of what they're learning throughout history, as well as what's going on in Christian worldview overall. So we work hard to connect those things for the students. Let's just give you an idea again of the actual courses, the Christian study courses. Christianity and Contemporary Culture allows students to do exactly what Christy Hazeltine was talking about, go out into the world post Bear Creek, make good decisions, be wise, and know what they believe and why they believe, not us telling them what to believe, but allowing those conversations and those Socratic discussions to allow students to discuss various topics and unpack those, because they're ready for that at the upper school. We have philosophical theology taught by our Associate Dean of Students, Dave Urban, and then systematic theology, historical theology, And so they get a really robust Christian studies program. And then, as I mentioned, the languages we offer, the Latin starts in Latin too, because Latin, they receive Latin studies in their middle school curriculum. So we do Latin 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, we have the opportunity, which is just phenomenal, to go to the Holy Land every 2 to 3 years. We try to put that on our trip schedule, and Mr. Davison and I had the opportunity to do that a few years ago and take a group of students and alumni and parents to the Holy Land, Israel and Jordan, and it just brings the scriptures alive. So, and then we also have Latin and art trip. They went to Rome, and so we do have a regular, on the website you'll see a regular trip schedule that we allow the students to go with us, and we have our teachers take them. So we really appreciate those opportunities. In our English and rhetoric and history, there again, I won't read all those to you, but you can see we have an overview of all of those various opportunities. Rhetoric is available. We have AP courses. Art history is available, and we just try to, like I say, keep those courses lined up so that what they're learning in one humanities affects the other, and that it all makes sense. It's not just separate topics being talked about in various scenarios. This is one of the trips that we're doing next spring during our spring break, April 6th through the 16th. We already have a number of students signed up. Dr. Rob Sorensen and Mrs. Laura Price will lead an 11-day trip to England and Scotland during our spring break. It's just one of the trips that we get to start doing now that the pandemic is over and we can start to travel. And I know there's a lot of people super excited about this trip. So that's just around the corner, but that's just an example of one of the opportunities that students have as upper school students. When we transition to some of the other topics, we have a full offering of our math program. As you can see, what you might expect with geometry and algebra 2, but we go all the way up through the AP Calculus AB and AP Calculus BC, applied. We have multivariate calculus, and then of course computer science classes. Our academics are very robust, and students, they do have to work hard and they have to lean into what opportunities they have with the teachers, but the teachers are top notch and they spend time in extended block and during office hours. And I love that piece of our mission where it's being courageous, and some of that has to do with being courageous to deal with topics that are difficult, and it's how resilient am I going to be? This doesn't come easy to me, but I am going to move through this. And then those aha moments of I got it, I did it. It's just delightful to watch. So a lot of really excellent opportunities for students in math is, all the way up to the multivariable calculus, should they wish to do that. So we're really proud of the math program. In our sciences, we have the conceptual physics, and then we have chemistry, honors chemistry, AP chemistry. As you can imagine, engineering is really popular. We added AP environmental science this year. And then we also have AP physics. We added a psychology class, and the students they get excited when they get to do those labs. And again, the teachers lean into that. They help them understand with their journaling and all the things that they do in those science classes. And we're really thrilled to watch what happens. One of our psychology teacher and AP bio teacher has a PhD in neuroscience. She's just phenomenal. She came from Boston. We're thrilled to have her. And I'm so excited as I observe these teachers, just what quality instruction is happening in the classroom. So I know if you have a student who loves science or math, they have a lot of options, and we're excited to offer those. The other thing that we're really proud of is we have Mrs. Trinity Osborne, who has won Art Educator of the Year. She is the department chair for the arts program. And as you can see there on the slide, we have a number of opportunities. If your student really loves graphic design, photography, digital arts, we have studio art 1, 2, and 3, and even putting together your portfolio. We have a wonderful music program where we have a jazz band in the morning and a zero block. We have pep band for the games, and then we're doing a musical in the spring. It'll be My Fair Lady, and your student can play in the pit orchestra if they want, or they can take the the film and animation class. They can be a part of technical theater, just a wonderful opportunities for your student if they're interested in the fine and performing arts. And some wonderful pictures there of our students in action. That bottom left is when we did Beauty and the Beast a few years ago, and it was just such a community event we really enjoyed. So we're very proud of that program. Physical education, we have strength training classes, multi-sport experience, which allows students to just kind of dabble in a lot of different sports. Then we have an independent study where they can get physical education credit if they do something outside of Bear Creek, like swimming or football or something. And then we also have situations where the physical education instructor will work through an independent program, a workout program with your students so that they can earn their physical education credit. And then we have Intro to Athletic Medicine, which is just delightful for those students who might be interested in kinesiology, physiology. Maybe they take a health class and then they take the bio class and they really think, I might want to be a physical therapist or a trainer. This is opening those doors for them. So the wonderful opportunities there, as well as our athletic program that Mr. Pullman will talk about here in just a minute. Want to talk to you briefly about our advanced placement courses. You can see we have 13 AP classes, and as a school, we score high on the AP. We often score in the 4s and the 5s on the AP exams. We're very proud of those teachers as they work students through those programs, and there's a lot of rigor. There's a lot of advising from our advisors, our academic advisors, about is that something they should take or not, and why. And I really appreciate Katie and Ayoleida in that space as they help students walk through when they do course selections on what's best for your student. And they're wonderful at just helping. They have private appointments with you, and they will walk you through what you believe to be best and your student believes to be best for their series through ninth through 12th grade. So we will have give these slides to you so you can read them a little bit more. Another thing that I'm really proud of is our concurrent credit program with Northwest University as well as University of Washington. And this first slide indicates all the courses that have been approved by Northwest University. So if someone were to take AP Bio, for example, that instructor not only has the degrees required, but also has filled out all the paperwork needed from Northwest University or UW on the next slide. But they have allowed us to grant college credit for the course that they are taking at Bear Creek. So the concurrent credit, you pay a fee, and it is really a small fee compared to a college course that you might have to pay for. But these University of Washington and Northwest University are so great at working with us, and you sign up for this, pay the fee, and they get college credit for taking, for example, Dr. Mills' Latin classes. They will get 5 credits at University of Washington, or for our honors senior English class, Mr. Summers, they get 5 credits for his English class. And that's a real wonderful thing to start your college career with several credits already earned from having been at Bear Creek. So that concurrent credit is really nice. Some of our academic teams, our forensics teams is really well known. We have won a lot of awards. In the last 3 years, they've won 31 trophies, 12 first place trophies. They're known as 6th in the whole state, and that's competing against really very, very large schools. So we're very proud of the forensics program. Our Dr. Sorensen was the coach of the year last year, and the assistant coach of the year was our own Catherine Gardner, who teaches Spanish. And so we've had a lot of success in this program, and there's a picture there. And then our math team is starting their main competitions in December. They've been very successful. That's an after-school program that Roger Culbertson does for us, and it's delightful, and it gives opportunity for students to really lean into more math opportunity if that's something they enjoy. Okay, I would love to pass off to Kevin about our student. Oh, sorry. I'll back up one more thing. In January, we have Jan Term, which is a wonderful program. It's 2 weeks of 75 different courses, and some of them are listed there on the right. And the students, oftentimes when they leave Bear Creek, this is one of their favorite things that they note that they just love about Bear Creek. They come back from Christmas, they do this 2-week mini semester, middle school and upper school come in together, they get to do a number of classes together, and it's everything from video game design to information technology in the modern world. There's just a lot of really great classes, so we're proud of this program as well. And so now let me introduce Mr. Kevin Davison, our Dean of Students.
Okay, thanks so much, Carol. My name is Kevin Davison. I am the Upper School Dean of Students. My job is predominantly, there's kind of two components to my job. Number one is to work with students in creating a vibrant student culture outside of the classroom. And yeah, it does work into the classroom as well. But it's about creating a positive atmosphere for students to develop their interests, their passions, in creating a wonderful space for student life to take place, and then to create a supportive environment for students and families to thrive. And so we'll talk more about that in this session. And so some pictures that you see around here are some of the many and varied ways that our students engage with one another in creating student culture, whether that's through some of our various house challenges. This is on the left-hand side of the screen, one of our Viking Games challenges, which we started last year as part of our house challenge process. Viking Games are physical competitions, very athletic, or whether it is creating blankets as part of a community service drive, or whether it's our National Honor Society collecting food for a local Hope Link. Our students put a lot of time into creating opportunities for service, for fun, but also for virtue formation, and most importantly, for experiencing God. And so, yeah, we're going to talk more about that in this session. So let's talk about house first. And we have these wonderful banners which hang up on our wall. Right now they're down, they're being retrofitted to be able to be transported on poles as well. Our house system was started about 6 years ago, and all students in our upper school are sorted into houses. They don't have an immediate say. They can make requests and such, and there are symbols that go with it. But that is not like usually people will think of the Harry Potter house system and automatically think of that, but it is not Harry Potter in the sense of like there are attributes and all kids in the house share that attribute. It is much more European in nature, and so the goal of the house system is to build a sense of tradition and a sense of belonging, getting students to know one another, getting to know faculty members in a different way to create a supportive environment. And so sometimes we will try and put them with friends, but it's not to just put them with their friend group and reinforce those friend groups. We do actually try and strive to break up those friend groups a little bit, give them a couple of their friends, but teach them also to forge new friendships and to form working relationships and to forge house pride and school pride. These houses are a major mechanism for delivering the mission of the school amongst our student population. And so we do that through a couple different mechanisms. We have house deans and house heads. The house dean is a faculty member, and then house heads are selected by deans, who then lead house meetings. These are about 50 students. And then the house is divided into 4 mentor groups, which house faculty members will guide. And those house mentor groups, every student is a part of a mentor group as well. And then the houses will put on individual activities and games and get to know you times and things like this. But every year the house will feature a house feast, which will commemorate their namesake, which will gather all the students together, and families will be invited to that. Younger siblings that will maybe legacy up into the house, or alumni who have graduated that are in the area will be invited back to just share and remember this this major event. And then house challenges throughout the year earn points to the ever important and glorious House Cup, which is bestowed at the end of the year. And there's usually about 10,000 points are earned throughout the course of the year in order to get the House Cup. And there's a lot of drama behind the House Cup every year, I gotta tell you. They get pretty salty about their house points, and it's one of the, it's fun. It's good drama, good fun behind the scenes. Sometimes not good fun, but most of the time it's good fun, as you can imagine. And so the house system, though, is a great vehicle because it allows for a lot of our other student life programs to come alongside that. So when we want to do things like food drives and whatnot, they oftentimes partner with house and house leadership to accomplish food drives and whatnot, because the house does such a great job in galvanizing interest, galvanizing support. So even though others are designing these programs, it's the house system that partners with it to help get interest and support and other things. And so ASB is governed or is overseen, mentored by our Associate Dean of Student, Mr. Dave Urban, who does a great job of this. It is another leg of about 4 major student leadership organizations. The biggest difference between ASB and House is that while House heads are selected by deans, ASB is a student government that is elected by students. And so they will run every year, and this is direct student representation. There will be a small cabinet of about 4 students, and then individuals will run to represent various committees and to become class reps. Those committees and class reps will also be trained to run events throughout the course of the year as well, and host, whether they're grade level events or whether they're some of our major keystone events, like we have Hope Week coming up in February, or we have we just had a dance back at the end of October. Various committees are in charge of various things. The goal with all of these things, though, is to not just have adults plan all these. And I think this is a signature piece of Bear Creek is we want to train students to be very powerful student leaders. We equip them and train them to do planning, how to do it well, how to be excellent leaders, how to train other leaders, so that when they graduate from Bear Creek, they themselves go into their colleges and whatnot, and they become powerful leaders that way. And so we almost think of student life as being an extracurricular piece of another educational arm, in another way, a social and emotional learning component. We just had an alumni graduate, and he came back recently and wrote me a note about how the lessons of leadership that he learned being a house head are directly impacting him as he is now president of his dorm, and how he now sees all of those pieces that he was learning the last couple of years carrying out in a new way, and how thankful he is. These are the things that we want your students to also learn, have the opportunity to learn through these various ways, so they can become the next generation of leaders in their businesses and in government and other things. So yeah, ASB also governs a whole slew of student initiated clubs, which are super exciting. Unfortunately, one of Katie Gomulkiewicz's favorite clubs, Star Wars Club, no longer exists. It disappeared. But basically, students are allowed to initiate clubs under a certain banner, and that is overseen by one of our committee reps, and our student relations committee rep, and they oversee it. And we are pleased to see that there's just a strong interest in students to run a whole bunch of interest-based clubs that then kids, because we do a rotation basis on a part 1 and a part 2 every other week, students jump into each other's interests and get to participate in various things, which we block out every Friday. And so it allows students to share in coding and chess and news teams and things like this, and experience new things, and also to take on another layer of leadership in running a club and thinking about marketing and maybe seeing a need and filling a need, which is another great level of leadership. We also have 2 other clubs which we would consider more of our national level clubs: National Honor Society, NHS, which serves the immediate community for us in running some of our more charitable giving campaigns in partnership with our community partners programs. I've mentioned already they run our Hopefully food drives and other things. And NHS is governed by a couple of faculty members, but it also has a layer of academic responsibility attached to it, and usually sophomores and above are eligible for that. Key Club is open based on pure interest and like a $10 annual fee. It's an addition. It's run by it's an arm of the local Rotary Club, and I actually just met with the advisor from the Rotary Club on Monday during our local fire drill. He happened to be on campus meeting with the Key Club at the same time, and it just came out because, of course, we had a fire drill at the same time, and he was commenting on how amazing our Key Club leaders are when he compares it to a lot of other Key Clubs, and just how they're so driven, they're so organized, and they get so much done in a year. It's just impressive. And so, yeah, we have an amazing Key Club. They lead monthly activities. They're so involved, and they will help lead students into, again, just being involved in the local community and getting involved in like the Woodinville, Redmond area, and being a participant in community service. In addition to our leadership opportunities, we have an assembly every Monday, which deals with more of the student life issues, whether that's digital citizenship, which we put a prime value in talking to students about, or virtue recognition assemblies, or Jan term assemblies, or things like this. And then chapels are every Tuesday, where we will invite faculty and administration to guest speak, and where students are lead worship. And that's, again, a key piece. You're going to hear that a lot. Student-led, student-led, student-led comes up a lot in the upper school. It's a key feature of what we do. Students want to drive. And so both metaphorically and literally, as you'll find out once they get to this age. And so we do put them in that position a lot. And then student support is this other major component of what we do. We put a lot of effort into making sure that we provide social and emotional support, as well as academic support through what we call the student support team, addressing needs as they may emerge with every student. Faculty are primed to looking out for students that may be struggling in the school, and so they will raise those concerns. And so when that happens, we want to make sure that there are plans in place to catch a student rather than just letting them crash and burn. And so we will get together and we'll start talking about what are the resources that need to happen, what communications need to happen, what are the pieces that are in place, so that we can really make sure that students have the best chance for success. And that's an amazing thing that exists at Bear Creek and does not exist everywhere else. In addition to that, mentor groups, which we've already talked about, help students get to know a particular faculty member over the course of their entire time at Bear Creek. And so they're not going to be left alone and in isolation. And so there are faculty members who will know them and get to know and look out for them. And finally, we have an upper school counselor that works full time at Bear Creek, which we are very blessed by. And she is available every day from 7:30 to 3:30 to meet with families and students. And she comes with a wealth of experience and providing resources to families that may be wanting more access to resources outside of our walls. But she also just attends to crises as they may emerge on campus. And so I'm going to turn it over now to our wonderful academic advising team, beginning with Mrs. Ayoleida Paramo.
Thank you, Kevin. Good afternoon. My name is Ayoleida Paramo, and I have the privilege to collaborate with Ms. Katie Gomulkiewicz in the College and Academic Advising Office to help guide and support our students through their high school journey. As you can see, our philosophy is to provide personalized advice to help the students maximize their individual academic experience at Bear Creek and start on a strong path toward reaching their goal, their post-upper school goals. So because no students are the same, there will be different scenarios, priorities, goals, interests, etc. So we will give different advising for different situations to help students maximize their experience at Bear Creek. While our curriculum is structured with an intentionally designed core, it allows our students to make different choices based on specific areas of interest, strength, and rigor. So these choices are some of the ways our Bear Creek education encourages and supports our students' unique gifts and strengths as they become the individuals God intends. So in addition to our core curriculum, as Carol mentioned earlier, we offer a variety of elective courses, such as visual and performing arts, PE courses, computer science, psychology, etc. But we also offer 13 advanced placement courses, which are not only very, advanced courses, but they're also taught at the college level. So our students have the opportunity to go deeper in a specific area of interest, have the possibility of earning college credit at their college of choice based on the score they earn on the AP exams. On the right is a screenshot of our course planner tool that allows the students to plan and track number of credits that they're earning on each discipline and how they're meeting their graduation requirements. This is a tool that we use through the whole 4 years. They start actually in grade 8, we meet with rising grade 9 students, and we work on a plan for their 4 years at Bear Creek. They work with me for the first 2 years in grades 9 and 10, and then I graduate them to Ms. Gomulkiewicz, who will guide them through their college applications in starting grade 11. However, as we know, we start a journey right at the beginning in grade 9 with our course planning. In addition to the individual appointments that we have with our students to provide guidance, we also offer study skills sessions every week. These are optional but highly recommended for our students. And these skills are basic skills that you need to study and learn efficiently. So in basically there are life skills that we all can benefit from. And we, a growing number of students and myself meet every week to work as a group and on, again, based on our philosophy, on individual student needs. And this is a great opportunity that our students have. And we have fun while we learn some life skills. So also we have the opportunity to offer our students the chance to practice some practice for the college admission tests, not only the SAT, which is very popular in our area, but also the SACT. So we have practice tests for both of those tests starting grade 9. They have choice, they have the opportunity to test on both exams, and then decide which one they feel more comfortable with, they get better scores on, and to prepare on one of the two for their actual official testing in starting grade 11. And then it's very important that we mentioned that we have a partnership with the College Board in which we are able to offer the SAT school day in-house for our students. This is exclusive for Bear Creek students, and we offer it twice a year, one in the fall and one SAT in the fall and another one in the spring semester. And again, this is exclusive to our Bear Creek students. It happens during the week on a school day, and our students have a guaranteed seat on that test. And on the right, you can see, I think Carol also mentioned how well our students performed on those standardized testing with all the preparation that they get. So at this point, I would like to introduce Katie Gomulkiewicz, our college and academic advice dean.
Thank you so much, Ayoleida. And it's an honor to be with you all today and pick up where Ayoleida left off talking about our advising program. As she mentioned, Ayoleida works mostly with our 9th and 10th graders, helping them prepare for their best academic journey here at Bear Creek in high school. So she actually starts, as she mentioned, with the 8th graders. And then I really step into the journey with our 11th grade students, both with their course advising and also with college advising as well. So our college advising at the Bear Creek School is a best fit philosophy. And what that refers to is finding a school that matches a student's goals for the future and how they want to achieve them. Our mission at the Bear Creek School, as Christy Hazeltine mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, is for each student to become the individual God intends. And so our college advising philosophy with the best fit really ties into our mission as a school. And so what this means is that really the bedrock of our college advising program is helping students discern what matters to them in a school, what their goals are for the future, and then helping them craft a list of schools around the country or the world that really fit with their goals and what they're looking for in the future. So really the bedrock of the process, as Ayoleida mentioned, with academic advising being that one-on-one support, it's the same for the college advising department. And so the advising team is really our main resource that we have. And as I mentioned, one-on-one advising sessions will form the heart of our college advising process. I start meeting with the students junior year it's sort of after Christmas break junior year. I help them start thinking about those factors that go into the college decision process and help them navigate building a college list. I then help them through the entire application process with application support. I help by reading their essays, helping them reshape their list, and any ways that they need support throughout that college process. In addition to that one-on-one advising, we also host, Ayoleida and myself, college and academic advising events throughout the year. Some of these are internal events for Bear Creek families, and some are external, where we welcome both Bear Creek families and members of the community to come and learn about the college process. And I'll actually mention one of those at the end of my time, but I want to also touch on the other resources that we offer as well. We use a program called Naviance. It's not exclusive to Bear Creek, but it's a fantastic resource for our students. It actually helps them through the logistics of the college application process and allows the advising team to help them with that process. But it also provides a great resource for students as they're searching for colleges. They have some great college match tools, and we also use Naviance to host on-campus visits for our students from colleges all around the country. We also use Teams, so we're on a Microsoft Teams call today, and we will use that, Ayoleida and I, to communicate with the students either one-on-one through Teams chat or also through different Teams channels to make sure that they are up to date on deadlines, due dates, and can get any questions answered in an expedited manner. And then lastly, we have internal monthly emails that go out to all of our high school families. If you haven't received those emails and you are a current high school parent at Bear Creek, let me know. We've now released 2 months of those emails, and it's just a way for us to partner with parents. Ultimately, at Bear Creek, our goal is for students to leave the advising department feeling ready for their next step in the journey. And I've put on the board sort of the 4 things that we think are really important. That strong academic framework, which Carol mentioned, and Ayoleida did as well, in the ways that students can dial up or dial down the rigor, in ways in which they can invest in areas of passion for themselves. We also work with students on practicing executive functioning skills. Ayoleida mentioned these: time management, organization, self-advocacy. We bake office hours, that time for students to meet with teachers, into our schedule, and we encourage students to be strong self-advocates and practice those skills. Our student life, which Kevin talked about at length, provides students opportunities to demonstrate passion in areas of interest, in activities that they love. We'll talk about athletics. Well, I won't, but Chad Pullman will talk about athletics in a minute, and that's another area where we provide opportunities for students to dig deep. And then lastly, ways for students to lead and serve the community. I always say that colleges, when they're reading an application, what they're asking is, how will this student contribute to our community as a college? And so our goal is to help students find that best fit school in a community that they're excited to enter after graduating Bear Creek, where they will be robust contributors. I'm happy to answer more questions about the college advising program during the Q&A time, but for now, I'll turn it over to Chad Pullman, who is our athletic director here at Bear Creek, to share a little bit more about our high school athletics program.
Hello, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm excited to get to share with you just quickly and briefly a little bit about our athletics program at Bear Creek. We have a strong, competitive, and a very successful athletics program. You see some of our athletic support team here on this slide. We have Nathan, who runs our middle school program. He's also our varsity girls coach. Daniel Hill is our strength and conditioning and performance coach. And then Caitlin is our athletic trainer. Over 70% of all of our high school students participate in athletics, at least one sport, which is awesome. Bear Creek has a no-cut policy, which means any student that wants to come out and participate on a team has that opportunity to do so. We'll just keep making teams as many kids want to come out and play. So it's not uncommon at all to have a varsity team at the high school level and with a JV program and even a JVC program running as well, just to accommodate all the students that would like to play. One of the reasons we have a no-cut policy is we believe strongly that part of our mission and part of our pathway to kind of achieving and getting to the mission is, and you've heard this said now multiple times, but helping the students become the individual God intends is there's different paths to get there. Not every student figures out who they are and how God is working in and through them in the classroom or in math class or in any class. So sometimes it takes those extracurricular activities or that sports team or teammates or a coach and other things as well, like band and choir and drama. It takes those other influences in their life for them to kind of figure out and sort through, like, who are they and what is God doing? And athletics is a big part of that, where they can grow in their Christian virtue. Bear Creek competes in the WIAA or 1A classification. There's a lot more I could get into that. One thing I would like to share with you is that I am open and always available. If you have any questions about our athletics program, about any of it, you can call me, you can email me. All my information's on the website, and whether you do that now as part of this program or whether you do that later this week or in the future, I'm always available. We follow a traditional WIAA schedule, though. We have a fall season, a winter season, and a spring season. We offer just about all of the traditional sports, cross country and tennis, ball, soccer, volleyball, basketball, cheer, track and field, baseball and golf. We do not offer some of the traditional sports that other larger high schools might offer, such as football, swimming, wrestling, things like that. If your child does participate in those sports, they have an avenue to do those sports at their local high school while they attend Bear Creek School. If you have questions about that, certainly we can talk more about it. Other than that, I think I just want to share that we hear so often from so many of our alumni and current students that participate in athletic programs, just what a great experience that is. Just how much fun they have being on a team, how much fun they have just striving for something that is just more about the team and a community and not just about themselves. And so even from the pictures, I hope you can glean from that a little bit just about what kind of experience your child could expect to have while being on a team. It's not uncommon at all for graduates or for people to go through a year and say some of their favorite memories will come from being on those sports teams. And so I'm proud to say that we have a thriving athletics program. We just finished up our fall season and we had 3 of our fall teams go on and play in the state tournament. We expect a lot of success throughout this year and in the future as well. And we'd love for you guys to come and be a part of it. So thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. And I'm going to pass it back to Carol Miller.
Thank you, Chad. I hope in the brief time we've had here that you have felt the heart of each individual and how much they care about students and how much we want to guide them and help them through the upper school 9th through 12th grade years. And we offer tours, and we would love to have you come to those tours. We'd love to meet you, and you can sign up. There will be a link put in the chat for you to follow if you wish, but existing Bear Creek families, new potential families, we would love to have all of you come to our tours, and those will be running on December 2nd, Friday, And those go between 8 and 11:30. So feel free to sign up for those and we can meet you in person and just get to know you a little bit more and answer any more questions. You're welcome to put questions into the chat now if you'd like to. And I will pass it back to Christy Hazeltine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carol. So we are now going to talk about upcoming things here at Bear Creek. As you can see on the slides, we have a couple more tools for success seminars coming up, one about college and then the other about communication strategies. So you are all welcome to attend that. You can go to our website and RSVP. Then also for those families that are looking at Bear Creek for the first time, perhaps wanting to apply to Bear Creek, it's easy. Just go to our website, click on the admissions tab of the website. You will need to create a username and password first. Once you have that username and password, then you can move on to step 2, which is to the admission portal. When you open up the admission portal, you will only see one item, just parent information. Once your parent information is submitted, then all the other required checklist items will appear. So as you can see from the slide, the application deadline for siblings of current Bear Creek students is December 12th, and then all other new applicants by January 23rd. And then you're wondering, well, when will I hear? Well, lots of times people ask, how many spots do you have available? And right now, I don't even know that. The reason for that is we have to go through the current student re-enrollment process first. That happens mid-January into February. So all new families are applying without knowing how many spots are available. I don't even know how many spots are available at this point. However, generally speaking, there is a natural attrition that occurs. Families' lives change, people have to move. So I always encourage families to apply. You don't have a chance unless you apply. And so apply and then complete your application. And these are the dates that you will be notified of a decision. And siblings will be, for most siblings, if it's a complete application, they will receive their notification when re-enrollment goes out so that the family can make a decision for all children in the same house. And then for grades K through 8, most decisions March 10th. I do need to add that for upper school students, grade 9 and above, it's not indicated here in the slide, but notifications for upper school will be mid-February. And then our next slide, we'll talk about need-based tuition assistance. So Bear Creek has awarded, this past year we awarded $2.4 million in tuition assistance to approximately 25% of our student population. If you have a financial need, we do encourage you to apply. For current families, you can see the steps here. It's a confidential online process. The only difference between this slide and the next slide is the date to submit the tuition assistance application for current families is earlier than for new families. And here for new applicants, as you can see, the application deadline to submit a tuition assistance application is January 23rd. I do want to point out that applying for admission to Bear Creek and applying for tuition assistance to Bear Creek are two separate processes. And for new applicants, those two separate processes need to occur at the same time. So do not wait to apply for tuition assistance if you have need. And then last but not least, I'd like to let you all know, be aware of two new scholarships that we have this year. The C.S. Lewis Scholarship is for new and returning students. This is the first time in Bear Creek history that we've ever had a scholarship for returning or retention purposes for current students. So that's exciting. And it is for kindergarten through 12th grade. And then, of course, new applicants are welcome to apply. Again, it's a separate application process. Our scholarships do require a tuition assistance application, and then there is a scholarship application as well. So you can see that the due dates for current students is December 9th, and for new applicants, everything completed by January 23rd. And then if you have questions regarding admissions, please feel free to reach out to any of these people here listed on the screen. We are more than happy to help you. We have it divided by grade level. So for those of you that might be applying to grade 9 and above, you can contact me directly and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I believe we now are going to go into Q&A time, and Katie is going to monitor our Q&A. So Katie, back to you.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, if you have questions, continue dropping them in. There's a little bit of a delay on our end getting the questions, so definitely drop them now if you have them. I'll start with actually 2 questions for the advising department. So one person asked, how often does the college advising team meet with students one-on-one? So all of the juniors will meet with me at least once after Christmas break. I really encourage, it's not mandatory, but it's as strongly encouraged as possible for students to meet. And then they can meet with me as much as they want. I have some students that come in twice a week to meet with me, and I have other students that will meet with me once or twice a year. So I encourage it. Others prefer to communicate on Teams. So some students prefer that method, but truly it's as much as they want. I have Ayoleida and I both, so for academic advising, it's similar. And we both have an online scheduling system we use, which gives students access to multiple times per day to sign up for appointments. And then the second question is about concurrent credits, and do those transfer to colleges that aren't UW and Northwest? And the answer is yes. So those are college credits. They're from accredited institutions. So if a student goes to SPU, if they go to Whitworth, if they go to WSU or any other school, I'm just naming some Washington schools, those credits should transfer. That said, and we'll talk about this in the college advising process, but not all schools accept college credits. It just depends on the type of institution, or some limit the number that students can bring in. So there's some individual institutional parameters around that, but as far as schools that do accept college credits, those would absolutely be accepted. Okay, so a couple other questions. Okay, Kevin already answered the question about Christian studies and students being able to catch up. So if you had that question, I'm going to skip past it because Kevin did answer it. The next question is for you, Christy. It looks like you answered as well. Someone was asking about some rates for 9th grade students. Someone asked if this meeting will be available to listen to afterwards. I don't believe so, but we will be sending out the slide deck. And if that's incorrect, then someone correct me. And someone asked about the 9th grade acceptance rate. So Christy, can you share a little bit about for incoming 9th grade students? Do we have an acceptance rate for 9th grade students, and what does that look like for families? We got a couple questions about that.
Right. I think I answered it just maybe privately, but I'm happy to answer it to everyone as well, because that is a question that I do get asked from time to time. So Bear Creek does not share our acceptance rate because it varies from year to year, and it is based on the needs of the school and how we build a class makeup. But in addition, information on acceptance rates can lead to student family anxiety, and it does not provide information about the type of student that we accept. So we do not share our acceptance rates because it varies all the time, year to year, based on needs.
Perfect. Thank you, Christy. And Kevin, since we have a minute, I know you answered the question about the Christian Studies and History program, but I'd love if you could just elaborate on that briefly. The question was, you know, for students that are coming from public school, will they be able to catch up in those programs?
Yes, they will. We do understand that there's differentiated backgrounds for many students coming into the upper school. And so for the Christian Studies component in particular, we treat each class as an independent unit, and students will be, they'll be brought into the subject matter from start to finish without, I mean, there might be some references to previous stuff, but there's not a, I wouldn't say that there is a a unique benefit to the students that have come before in a bad way, or in a way that will harm a new student transferring in. Students that are transferring in will be equipped to have success. Same with history. The students that are coming in, they will be equipped with the materials needed for success. Now, the things that we always like to highlight about the advantages of our program at Bear Creek tend to be in, especially the classical education components, in the way that we've trained our students to think about things and whatnot prior to that, in preparing them for transition up into upper school. So, I mean, there's, so there's those pieces, but it's not a curricular issue. There's nothing that they're going to, it's not like there was a prequel that they've missed out on, that somehow if they've come to watch this movie, they're going to be like, who are these characters? We don't know. No, we have them all figured out. Okay. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that elaboration. I am cognizant that we are up against time, and I want to be respectful of all of your time today. I did want to clarify one piece, which is that Karen Furminger, who is our amazing moderator, mentioned that the presentation actually will be available. She put that link in the chat there, so please make sure that you note that. It'll be on our website. The slides will actually not be sent out, so the presentation will be there versus the slides, which is actually even better. So if you missed any portion of the presentation or you just want to review anything, then please be on the lookout for there. It sounds like it'll be uploaded just in a day. I think that that is the end of our presentation today. I want to thank you all so much for joining us, and we are excited to share about the Bear Creek School with you, and we look forward to seeing you at a future event. And stay safe today as you're driving and enjoying the snow. Bye.